It is I, Mick Julies, and of course we're here to talk about Assassin's Creed Valhalla. But first, I wanted to introduce my homie who's playing the same game as me, Valhalla, at the same exact time, which I thought was kind of crazy. So I was like, hey, let's do a video. I think about this fella as, you know, just like some other old dude at work who's also pushing 40, and you know, the guy that runs really fast around the track in the morning and likes to work out and likes to play golf. And you know, just an all-around cool dude and good at his job. But I was like, wow, you know, Jason was in the NFL, so it'd be pretty sweet for the 20 to 50 McDooley's fans to check out this my cool homeboy who played in the NFL and did some amazing things, and see what he thinks about the game. All right, let's go to Jason.
What's up, I'm Jason Anderson. I used to play receiver in the NFL. This random guy, Michael, wants me to talk to you. He's actually my boy, so I figured I'd do this. I'm talking to you about Assassin's Creed Valhalla, the combat versus classic Assassin's Creed. I opened the game up and I wasn't really a fan of the old Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
You can't spell.
What did I do?
I'm sitting here trying Akakin's Creed. I'm sorry. Alright, so I'm going to talk to you about classic Assassin's Creed versus new Assassin's Creed Valhalla combat. I opened the game up and I wasn't really a fan of the old Assassin's Creed. I played it once or twice, but then I opened this one up, the new one on PlayStation 5, and it was amazing. You can just run around in the world, do whatever the hell you want. This big open world where you can get down these wormholes of just doing every little side mission and kind of get away from the main mission, but I like that because it's hours upon hours of gameplay. You know, I've played for about 80 hours right now and I haven't even beat the game yet. I do like the role-playing element of actually building up your character and all the different options you can do. It's pretty wide open and endless possibilities with that. All right, I will tell you one interesting NFL story. My very first NFL repetition was against Rodney Harrison for the New England Patriots. He had a big cast on and all. I knew he was this pretty scary guy. So my first ever one-on-one drill was against him, and he beat my ass pretty bad, and I had to go call my mama afterwards. So that's something pretty interesting about me. I missed a touchdown from Tom Brady, but I did catch Doug Flutie's last ever touchdown and Matt Castle's first ever touchdown.
Woo! Hell yeah.
That's about it.
Jason out. Thanks again, Jason. You know, we were having a great time with the game, and I watched some other YouTubers' videos to get their impressions on the game. And pretty much everybody feels the way I do. I'm a little bit more optimistic than some. Some of the complaints being the glitches. When the game first came out, there was some really bad glitches. I didn't get a chance to experience them, but I watched them to research for this video, and they were freaking horrible. And I've had some glitches that were really frustrating, especially when you go to when you take a potion and pass out high or whatever, I don't know, and you go to Asgard, and yeah, this is pretty glitchy. But England, which the game mainly takes place in England, it's not so bad. Another complaint, which I agree with, which I'm going to keep it short, is that you start out in Norway and then you make your way to England for an epic adventure, which it is epic. And Norway is a little boring and a little slow, and it doesn't look that great. But once you get to England, it's on. Everything is pretty. This is one of the most beautiful games I've ever seen. Of course, I'm playing it in 4K, so even better. You might not get that chance, but I highly recommend playing it in 4K. It makes the adventure a lot better when you're riding on your horse. The last major complaint that I wanted to briefly mention is that when you go to siege castles, it's kind of boring. You go in and everybody's fighting each other, and you don't have a dance partner usually. Every once in a while you run into an elite enemy and they'll come after you. Mostly you're just stabbing people in the back and you keep running, and you're bashing at the doors of the castle, and that's really boring. Getting shot at by fire arrows, that's really boring. As soon as you start one of these sieges and as soon as you start the game, just run through to the end and fight the boss or the king or whoever the hell is in charge of the place. Fight the one or two elites that are in the castle and move the freak on. But yeah, that's my last complaint of the game. Now let's get into the good stuff. One difference between Valhalla and Odyssey that kind of bothered me was the parrying. The parrying in this game is pretty bad. You're going to want to dodge. You're going to want to get the ability that slows down time when you dodge. Keep your eyes open for that. Look it up online as soon as you buy or start playing this game. Just take my word for it, okay? I consider the last 3 Assassin's Creed games to be like a trilogy. Like, they're completely different than the old games. I would like to see them go back to the, I'm kind of a purist, the original formula. Just every once in a while. Maybe they should have 2 series. The RPG series and the original series. That would be nice. But let's talk about some improvements they've made for Valhalla. Okay, one thing I noticed is that this game is full of a heck of a lot more things to do. Everywhere you go, every few feet you run, there's something to do. There's some kind of mystery or treasure. I mean, that's definitely an improvement. It's not as quite as empty. Not that the other 2 games are empty, but it's less empty. It seems like there's more hours of things to do. If you take into account like how long the story takes to complete, it takes about 50 hours just to complete the main story, which is a little bit more than previous entries. And the entire game takes about 200 plus hours to beat. I'd say for me about 250 because I'm slower than all hell. I get out there and I start having a couple beers and I can't do a damn thing. There's lots of difficulty choices, which was shocking. I was like, wow, you can pretty much adjust almost everything. You know, obviously, you know this game is by Ubisoft, you know, hence the glitches. You get experience from almost everything you do, which makes like dialogue a little bit more enjoyable, because sometimes you'll get experience from just talking to somebody and running around for a few minutes, and then so it doesn't punish you for doing, you know, staying away from combat. It doesn't punish, you know, you can get experience from flighting, which is pretty much like a rap battle. I guess you could call it. For us normies, it's a rap battle. Finding treasure almost always requires puzzle solving, which I thought was like a really good touch. I mean, I hate it when you just walk up and you see a treasure chest and you did absolutely nothing to earn it. On the downside of that, sorry, another complaint, is that you could just take the equipment from the beginning of the game, the Raven armor and the, you know, whatever you have, Varen's axe, you could just take all this stuff and just continue to upgrade it. To upgrade it, you once you get to the upgrade limit and you upgrade inside your own inventory with resources, which is kind of nice. I like that because I don't want to have to every single little tiny upgrade I have to go to somebody. I have to go to a blacksmith. But it's kind of weird. Once you get to the limit, you go to the blacksmith, and the blacksmith improves it so you can upgrade it again, and it goes from, like, you know, regular to better. I don't remember. I think the last one was mythical, like mythical armor pieces, and you can continue to upgrade it. But the thing is that when you find weapons and armor, when I see it on the map, I don't bother getting it. They're all pretty much the same. There's no spectacular anything. It's kind of a downer. What you do want to find is you want to find books of knowledge so you can get new moves. You know, that's what it's all about. Let's talk about the skill tree. So the skill tree, it doesn't really matter what you do. I like it okay. I like to go in there and pick out what I want at that minute. Like, I'd really like to have higher attack and higher defense, and I like to focus on that. Or I see a cool move that I'd like to get, like slowing down time when you dodge, like I said before. Once again, get that right away. You know, I like to pick and choose, and I like it, but you might not like it because it doesn't really matter which of the 3 trees in the tree that you go to, because it's all pretty much the damn same. Sneaking around is what I like to do. I like to do that, and then once I get caught, I'll just fight until I'm getting beat up a little bit, and then I go hide again. That's how I do. Sometimes I get bored and I'll say, screw it, I'm gonna fight everybody if the enemies are low level. But the game does not really incentivize sneaking around. They really want you to be a freaking Viking and raid towns. Now, when you're raiding these monasteries and places where you find men of the cloth and whatnot, you know, because the game is all about killing Christians, just to let you know. So when you find these spots, you can sneak in and do your thing, and then call your homies with the horn. Or you could just come up and just raid the place. I'd recommend sneaking in, killing the elites, and calling your homies, because without your homies, you can't open up those big old doors. You can't open up big doors without your homies. And behind those big old monastery doors are big old treasures that you cannot open without your homies. So you're gonna need to call them with your horn eventually. The character models in Valhalla are much improved over Odyssey. I really like the voice acting. The voice acting is really good, and the voice acting is accompanied by a really riveting story. The game, well, the main campaign is divided into sections on the Alliance map. So you pledge to try to become allies with a certain area. You go there, you help them out. All the characters within that area are what the focus is on, and they all get a bright light shined on them so that nobody is left out. And so dividing it up that way, it makes it to where no character is left behind. You get to know all these people, and of course, what do you think happens at the end of the game when you call on everybody to help you out to fulfill their oaths to you? You see them all again, and it's like, oh, there's Mr. So-and-so. But the middle of the game is the best part. The story is very good. I did not like the ending quite as much as I did the previous two entries. It's just anticlimactic. I guess I would call it. It's cool, but it's not epic as I would have liked it to have been, which isn't a huge complaint, because you're going to be coming back to play this game to see all the mysteries. I've put in over 100 hours into it, maybe like 150. I could probably play it for another 100 hours. There's a huge amount of things to do. I can't stress that so much, and the game is beautiful, so you're gonna come back. I also wanted to tell you that getting to a level 6 settlement is a bitch. So you're not gonna get all the supplies in the game right off the bat. At the bottom of the map in the ocean, there's a couple of boxes where you get supplies for your settlement. How would you know that? So I'm gonna tell you how you would know that. Okay, so when you get towards the end of the game, don't worry about it right away. And you're like, I want to just have a level 6 settlement before I beat this game. Okay, so McDooley's going to tell you what to do. Alright, so when you're looking on the map, oh, don't forget to get the cartographer. When you're doing your settlement, get the cartographer fast so you can identify and locate stuff on the map without actually having to bust your ass to find it, because after a while that, at first it's cool, but after a while it gets a little annoying. So you'll see that everything has a symbol, but there's some of them don't, and they're these small little yellow dots, and you have to focus on the map zoom in as close as you can get, and you'll see, that's the only way you'll see them. And just look around the map, and when you find them, that's a box that's gonna have supplies in it every time. And so that's the only way you'll know. They don't tell you, but Mick Dooley's just told you. The parrying is trash, but where it really shines in combat, because combat, after you get so strong, it can kind of get boring. But where it's really at is the abilities and the stuns, or which I call finishing moves. So yeah, what you're gonna want to do is try out your abilities. And you're going to see one ability where you fly through the air and you stab them, and that's the one that I keep going back to. It's easy. Arrow wise, you're going to want to get the one where you shoot through walls, because if you've got some stamina built up and you're like, damn it, there's a guy on the other side of the wall, I don't want to mess with him. It's great to just shoot him right through that wall. You can poison people, and my favorite, assassinating 2 people at once. This is the greatest. you jump up, you stab one, and then you throw your axe and you hit the other one in the head. And when they get hit in the head with the axe, it's funny every time. And the stun attacks, oh my gosh, it's like Mortal Kombat. So you stun them by shooting arrows on their weak spots, which will highlight in orange. And once they're stunned and you hit however many they have, some have 1, some have 2, some have 3, some have 4. Yeah, so then when you come up to him, you can stun him also by beating the hell out of him, and then you just finish him off in this cool move where you just beat the living crap out of them or stab them through the bot. You know, it's Mortal Kombat-esque. It's awesome. It's really annoying when you go into a city that you were invited into, or that you're trying to make an alliance with them, and you're getting attacked by the guards. Screw that. Traveling through this not so accurate England is really fun, and the game is definitely worth playing and definitely worth beating. So if you're having a hard time getting through the first section of the game in Norway, stick with it, and it's definitely worth putting in 150 to 200, 250 hours. I don't know if I'd go 250.
Ludo is your friend. McDooley's is your friend too. Subscribe to McDooley's or suck my ass.